everyone, I hope you're doing well. So this is just going to be a tag video today just because I really enjoy doing them and I thought this would be a really good way for you guys to continue getting to know me. It will be the reading habits tag. So let's just get right into it. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? I do. I usually just read on my bed. If not, I'll read outside because we have a really nice outdoor area at my parents' house, as well as like this beautiful view of like you get to see the valleys and the mountains and all these beautiful trees. And if the sheep are in our like pen, we get to see the sheep, which is really nice. Paddock, that's the correct word, paddock, not pen. Bookmark or random piece of paper. I personally am not too fussed, but I do prefer to have a bookmark if I do have one. I'm actually thinking of just making my own bookmarks because I don't know where to buy bookmarks from and my bookmarks always end up going missing. So maybe I should just make some nice bookmarks for my own and keep them in a box or something. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or after a certain amount of pages? I am a chapter by chapter reader. If not, I will read for like the scene, if you get what I mean, where there's that break and then it's just starting off in a different area, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm personally a chapter by chapter reader. I don't like stopping in the middle of a chapter. So if I'm on the train and let's say we're pulling up to the station that I'm getting off at and I didn't realize until we're there, I will most likely keep the audiobook on and then I'll just listen to that while I continue to go on my way, particularly if there isn't that much left into it. If not, I will see if I can find a way to just sneak in that bit more reading so I can finish the chapter. Otherwise, it will continue playing on in my mind and it's just too much for me. I need to finish the chapter. That's just how I always am, which is part of why I am a one more chapter type of reader, and then it's 3 in the morning and I have work at 6. So, do you eat or drink while reading? Not really. I do drink. I mainly drink like tea or like a chai latte. If I'm out at a cafe, I might order some coffee, depending on where I am though. I do like coffee, but I only really drink coffee if it's made by my mum because she has like this really cool coffee machine, like the sort of ones that would be at Gloria Jean's, or if I am at a cafe because I'm very picky about my coffee. I really like cappuccinos and espresso shots, but I'm very sensitive to caffeine, so I don't usually have coffee all that often. I usually just go for like a tea or like a hot chocolate or something. But yeah, and I don't really have snacks while I read because I will forget about the snacks. So maybe if it's like lollies or like nuts or dried apricots and banana chips, those used to be a really big hit for me. I really liked eating those while I read. Multitasking, music or TV while reading. I don't really listen to the TV while I read. Sometimes if it's something like really simple and laid back, like a sitcom like Will and Grace or How I Met Your Mother, Friends, they're really good to just like read to in the background. But mainly I prefer to read to music or ASMR, but ASMR without any talking. So like a tapping video or like just hand sounds. I don't know, just like something without talking in it that I can use as white noise because it's also really relaxing if it's a book that I don't have an audiobook to. I'm trying to get into the habit of not needing an audiobook to read because audiobooks were like my crutch while in a reading slump, and I'm trying to get out of my reading slump because I used to read so much and I never used to use audiobooks. I hated audiobooks with a fiery passion for some reason, just because I think it was because a lot of the ones I listened to were of like men, and I don't like how men do women's voices. I just don't. It's always been something that really bugs me. It sounds so weird. But I'm getting better at it now because I'm now listening to actually good audiobooks, not like the really cheap ones that you get at a library on the disc that were like, then the cat jumped over the fence, like those ones that you used to listen to in high school. Like they were awful, but like audiobooks now are so much better. So I mainly just listen to audiobooks or I'll listen to ASMR or music, so depending on it. And sometimes I don't listen to anything. I like listening, like I love to read while my boyfriend is playing video games. For some reason it can be really calming if it's like a quiet game for him because it's just like I hear my boyfriend talking to his friends and I don't know, it's nice. It kind of just, it's chill. One book at a time or several at once. I'm more of a several at once kind of girl, but I always do realize that if there is a book I am preferring, I will pick that one up more than the other ones. and it's kind of weird. So I can either really enjoy a book and read it slower, or I will really enjoy a book and read it like so fast, just absolutely devour it. But I am trying to get back into the habit of cross reading, just so that way I don't get into reading slumps, because I have noticed that if I do read just one book, I will reach the point where I don't want to read it anymore just because I'm not ready to finish it, and then I will get into a reading slump. So I'm trying to like branch out and read other books, particularly like when I read Game of Thrones, it was a bit difficult to read. I am very good with gory books, but with some of the themes in there, it did get a bit much for me. So I broke it up with a nicer book, if that made sense, particularly when like my mental health wasn't the best, if that makes sense. So if it's like, I will read a book, but I'll also read a book that's completely different. That's kind of my style. Read at home or everywhere? I read everywhere. I, at the moment, am only reading at home, but I think we all are. If you're not, go home, stay home, or like wherever you're staying, just don't go outside. But yeah, at the moment I am a thoroughly read at home reader, but usually I love reading in cafes. I just love the ambience of a cafe. I also read at work during my breaks. Like I'm kind of just, I read everywhere. I love reading at my boyfriend's as well, because just like being in that house with so many people is so nice. Reading out loud or silently in your head? I'm a bit of a both, because if I'm in a reading slump or if I want to read and it's just a bit difficult, I do read out loud. I'll like call up one of my friends who likes it when I read to them, or I'll read to my cats and I get really into it just because it's lots of fun. Or sometimes I'll read in my head. Like I do enjoy reading in my head as well. It's a lot better because then I can actually imagine an old man's voice. It's a bit difficult to do an old man's voice, and then after I do an old man's voice I can't talk because I just get really into it. I don't know. I'm a drama kid. I did lots of drama, so maybe that. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? If it's a book I haven't read, no. I like to make sure I have as much of the information as possible, which does get a bit difficult when I read. Like, I love Sarah J Maas. The ACOTAR series is one of my favorite series. However, I don't like info dumps and I don't like flashbacks. I hate flashbacks. I hate memories. They are the most annoying things in books, in my opinion, and I just don't like them. But when it comes to Sarah J Maas, if it's the first time I'm reading that book, like I don't skip pages. So I just sit through it and I retain all the information because it is needed information. But then when I pick that book up again, because I keep notes and I annotate my books, I don't actually have to read them and then I'll skip those pages, if that makes sense. Just because I know that that will like kind of like stain my reading process, if that makes sense. It might put me in a slump. So I choose to, like, I will push through it the first time, but I'll skip it the next. Breaking the spine or keeping it new? Again, I am not fussed, but if I can avoid breaking the spine, I will most likely do that, especially if it is a very beautiful book. But if I do break the spine, I might just go, "Aw," and then get over it. Like, it's not that big a deal. Do you write in your books? I used to actually write in all of my books, which was part of my annotating process, but I don't do it so much now just because I am a bit more of a picky reader than I used to be. And if I don't like the book, I don't want to be in a situation where I can't sell it, because I know so many places are like, "No, you've written in it, you can't sell it. There's a pen mark there, you can't sell it." So it's kind of like, if I don't want the book, I want to give it away. But it's also the thing of like, I would like to start writing in my books again. So if it's a book that I do enjoy, or am able to find another way to give it away to somebody else who will enjoy it more than I did, then I will write in the book. If not, I will stick to post-it notes, because that's like a good like way to write in your book and like write in your book but not commit, if that makes sense. Especially like if it's a very pretty book, like my Norse mythology book, I'm not going to write in it because it's very beautiful and I don't want to write in it. And if I didn't get it on sale, and if I wasn't a member at the bookstore I got it from, it would have cost me a lot of money. So I won't be writing in some books that I own. Okay, so that's all of the questions. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I tag everyone who watches this, so if you want to make your own video, let me know, or if you just want to answer the questions in the comments, I will leave the questions in the description, so feel free to check that out. And I hope you're all having a lovely day. Goodbye, guys.